Hi, it's Luang from Google Tech. There was a topic I want to discuss a long time ago, but I couldn't find any time. Today I finally can talk about things that you shouldn't 3D print. Of course, I'm not talking about illegal stuff like guns, weapons, stamp, counterfeit products. That is clearly not a good idea. Let's talk about things that you can print but you should not. First of all, the most popular one is those 3D prints that come into contact with food, like cookie cutters here, or food tray or bowls or stuff like that. If you go to Thingiverse, you could see a bunch of them. They are all over the internet. People download them, print them, use them to cook pasta, cookie doughs, and eventually eat those food. Now let's think about it. Here you can see is the mold that made by IKEA with stainless steel, which is very safe for consumption. But what you're using here is random materials from different manufacturers and you don't know what they put into them. PLA is derived from corn and sugar cane, so it is biodegradable and quite safe material. However, in the process of making materials, the manufacturers will add catalysts to speed up the process as well as additives for the colors and the material finish at the end. So when it got to your hands, it's not the pure safe PLA material anymore. How about PET? You could say the same like the PET bottle that we use. However, it has the G in it. Is it glycol? They add glycol to improve the mechanical property of PET, which makes it a very favorite material for prototype design. The PET is modified and take into account also the additive and the colors like I said before. That is about the material. How about the 3D printer? Now let's look at my nozzle. I printed many stuff with it. A variety of materials like PLA, PET, TBU, ABS pass through it. None of that is food safe and you end up eating food that may have contact or had contact with these materials as well as those additives that and color pigment that they have in the material. So I know that it's tempting to use this cute little cutter for your food and pasta, but you should stop at the level of kinetic sand or Play-Doh only. Your kids can play with them, cut them as much as you want, and then at the end they wash their hand and finish. You can argue that, okay, I can use food safe material. So there are food safe material, like you can see here. Those are approved by FDA and EFSAs. Still, those material have to pass through your 3D printer. Your filament is food safe, but your 3D printer is not. Either you print them at home, then it will be mixed with all of the material already there in the nozzle. Or worse, when you ask some people to print and send it to you, you don't have what they have in the machine. There's one situation that you can use this food grade material in which you have to get a machine, 3D printer just for food safe material only. And then you have to use stainless steel nozzle because brass nozzle is not good for food contact print. Then the feeder, you have to use stainless steel material also instead of the Teflon tube. And until then, can you have a food safe system? Even when you have such a system, because of the layers of the FDM methods, you will have bacteria build up in those gaps that you can see here. The only way to treat that is to use a food safe coating. If you think you can do all of those steps, then yes, you can use your print for food. Otherwise, I suggest you stop doing this because it is not safe. The second thing I want to talk about is the after-sale products. I saw on YouTube video that they print this one. Okay, this is the cover for your exhaust from the house out, and you can get it for less than $2-3 from Home Depot and hardware store. And I really don't know why he printed this one. If you need something customized, like maybe the hole is bigger, smaller, or it's a special corner they have to cut it thinner. Yes, you can do. Or you can see sometime I saw this kind of like Lego, the light switch, but they make with Lego so kids can attach Lego on it. So yes, those completely make sense to me. Or in case you break some parts and you cannot find it and you want to just print the replacement, yes, it makes sense to fix your stuff. But if you can find something off the shelf, get them, because the 3D prints quality will never be able to match with those industrial products. They make it by molding and casting, and you making trouble for yourself printing them. What happened there is that it will break, and then you have to reprint it and reprint it again. It's not saving you money. It's not cost efficiency. You ended up spending a lot of time and material to do and redo. And yes, here's another example that I found on Kickstarter. Like you can see here, I admire the idea. The design is very nice. It would be great if they mass produce them and then sell the module to people. But 3D print a whole shelf is another story. Why would you spend kilos and kilos of material to print a shelf while you can get with better material and more robust from any hardware store? If you want to do some customizations, yet do it. You can add the plate, add the side, add the cover, fine. But 3D print the whole shelf, for me, it feels irrational. And then you throw a bunch of plastic into the environment. I mean, it took longer time to make, and then it's easy to break. I mean, the fact that you can doesn't mean you should. Think about the environment, think about the efficiency. I also see like other people print the musical instrument that you play, like you can see here. That's not safe either. You put those directly into your mouth, you get the chemicals. If it's there, the plastic to your body, and you don't know what this thing gonna do with your body. So what can you print with a 3D printer? You can print kind of many things like toy, customized product, fixing something that break, and do prototyping for new products. For example, all of that you can print. But for food contact and after sale products, please don't print them. Get them, buy them from the manufacturer. It's safer and save you for a long run. I hope this video gave you some idea and help you to think it through before printing anything. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Please bring responsibly.